Segueing a little bit here, we're looking at Hurricane Helene. Massive amount of impact here in the state of Florida, of course, where we are, our southwest coast. And those of you that tracked it, watching obviously the massive direct hit at Big Bend again, then going up into Georgia, going up into the Carolinas. The impact has been massive. It's enormous. The lack of resources right now are enormous. Florida experienced massive destruction, specifically the southwest coast. The Carolinas were hit with over 2.5 feet of rainfall in less than 2 days. Epic flooding. I know that all of us have been watching this. We've just cried rivers of tears over these videos that we've been seeing in the mountains of the Carolinas, and we have vacationed so much there. We've been all through that area, probably like many of you listening or watching that love that region of the United States. This morning I was watching some reports, different reports of dead bodies being discovered in the trees everywhere, and the stench of dead bodies in the air being just overwhelming. It's hard to talk about these things. No power, no gas, no food, no supplies. I was so grateful to see Governor DeSantis here from Florida send a convoy of aid out of Florida into North Carolina. He's an incredible governor. So thankful that we live right here in the Sunshine State. Grateful for his leadership. Just the reports coming out, and there's an abundance of reports. This is not breaking news by any means. I mean, you guys are seeing this. The reports of FEMA's lack of ability, lack of effectiveness is overwhelming. And of course, then Kamala Harris saying that they're going to give $750 to each family is just beyond pitiful, while billions are, being rushed over to Ukraine. I can't believe it. But the good news is, here's the good news. Stay with me today. Right now, the American citizens, yes, the American patriots, American citizens are rallying together, putting their resources together. They're putting their ministries together. First responders, thank God for Samaritan's Purse. Thank God for Operation Blessing, Convoy of Hope, other ministries. I mean, the no names that people are just gathering in groups and going into the woods, going into the fields and literally rescuing lives out of mudslides. Unprecedented. Just people, boots on the ground, bringing practical aid. And speaking of Samaritan's Purse, I will wholeheartedly ask you, just give an endorsement today. We support Samaritan's Purse. We're about to give out of our own ministry generously once again to that ministry. Of course, we're talking Billy Graham / Franklin Graham, and that powerful ministry of first responders for Samaritan's Purse. And so I encourage you to go there. You can go to samaritanspurse.org, and they're right there, boots on the ground, North Carolina, and I think they're in Boone. Is that right, Josiah? I said Charlotte earlier when we were talking, but I think it's Boone right there. So, and I don't want to beat this drum too hard, but it's just amazing to me that Biden and Harris, just their lack of response, lack of aid is unreal. It just goes back to the question, who is the president right now? I mean, really, who is the president right now? There's just no real leadership. There's no leadership. But the good news is that patriots are rising everywhere. And what are they doing? They're rescuing, they're restoring, they're rebuilding, they're bringing aid. They're rescuing, they're restoring, they're rebuilding, they're bringing aid. So now, well, before I segue, I just want to continue to say we must, as the church, continue to pray for the grace and the mercy of God to saturate this entire region. We're going to be in a rebuilding phase for a long time. We need the Ezras and the Nehemiahs. We need the builders now. In some of these places in the Carolinas, the entire topography of these regions have changed so much. As civil engineers get in there, they're going to have to see it and redesign, and figure out how to put in brand new foundations or restore the foundations of cities, of streets, repairs of the breach for the streets to dwell in. I mean, this is Bible. But they're going to have to reimagine things, again, with the topography of the land so drastically changed. Bridges being rebuilt, towns being rebuilt, literally towns being rebuilt, bridges rebuilt. So many, and I know so many of you listening or watching, you've seen the news, and it's unreal how many roads are completely gone. And so we need to continue to pray for them and for their efforts of rebuilding, and we're going to be at this for a long time. This is a national emergency because of so much devastation, but it's time for the rebuilding. And may we continue to see the good news coming out that the angels of the Lord are working with first responders to find people alive. So key, so important. So on top of the already Hurricane Helene, we've got this port strike. And as soon as we heard the news of the port strike, we went to prayer here at Victory. And I know so many of you went to prayer. And thank you for the correspondence. For those of you that you guys are watchers, so you began to contact me, and I so appreciate it. It's no surprise, Kamala Harris, of course, she endorses the port strike. She's horrible. She's absolutely horrible. 45,000 port workers off the job. Think of that, 45,000 port workers off the job. This will impact the stores. This will impact the shelves, the supplies, big time. And here we are at a time of epic need with Hurricane Helene in the southeastern states. Throughout America, we got Florida, Georgia, the Carolinas, so on and so forth. But here's a key point I want to make today concerning what's going on with this port strike, and that is the eyes of these workers. I want you to stay with me. Think about this. The eyes of the workers that are walking off of these ports, walking off America's waterways, walking off our sea borders. Why is this important with the eyes? Because the American citizens are watchers. They see potential threats. That's what always happens. It's the American citizens that see a potential threat. They inform the authorities. They inform law authorities or even our military. Beyond our military and our guard that's been on watch on the East Coast and the Gulf of Mexico, this is completely impacting. 45,000 eyes are walking off of those ports. What does that mean? It means watchers are not present. Again, it's always the eyes of the American citizens that end up seeing something, some potential danger or threat. Folks, this is huge. This is massive. I pray that this is resolved quickly. This is another national emergency. Excuse me for that. If you like this video today, please like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.